Hello everyone, this is Simple Math for you and our lesson today is Midpoints and Bisectors. أهلا بكم في Simple Math for you ودرسنا اليوم هو عبارة عن نقطة المنتصف والمنصفات. Let's learn about midpoints on a number line. What is the midpoint? The midpoint of a segment is the point halfway between the endpoints of the segment. So if you have a segment and there is a point exactly at the middle, halfway بالمنتصف تماما. So it is called midpoint. So let's say that this is a segment AC. This B is at the middle, halfway or equidistance على مسافة متساوية من الطرفين from the endpoints. Then this is called the midpoint. So the midpoint separates the segment into two segments with a ratio of 1 to 1. 1 to 1. تقسمها بنسبة متساوية. So you can use the section formula to derive the midpoint formula and it will lead to a very simple formula. الفورمولا سهلة جدا. الصيغة التي تستخدم لإيجاد نقطة المنتصف سهلة للغاية وهي midpoint is x1 plus x2 divided by 2. What is x1? The x1 is one of the endpoints, واحدة من نقط البداية من النقط end point بيسموها نقطة من نقاط البداية أو النهاية و B is the other midpoint end point. So we can also add x2 plus x1 over 2. Also it will lead to the midpoint. In other words, we can say that this segment اللي هو AB is bisected. It is cut exactly into two congruent segments. So bisected means cut into two congruent segments. That means there is a segment bisector منصف القطع إلى قطعتين متساويتين. Now let's see how can we solve problems related to this part. What is the midpoint of AF? You can do it mentally. You can detect that there is a point at the middle exactly where the distance between the midpoint and the end point is the same from two sides. Yani from here to here 6 units, from here to here 6 units. So that means midpoint is 1. So it's easy to know that mentally if the question has endpoints that are nearby. But we will apply the formula. So we can say that the midpoint is -5 plus 7 over 2. This is x1, this is x2. We can add them and divide by 2. So it's 2 over 2, which is 1 as we have expected. كما توقعنا نقطة المنتصف هي 1. Let's apply on one of the real life examples. George travels from his school on 38th Street. So here at position 38. On to the library on the 62nd Street. This is number 62. He stops halfway. So this is the keyword that we are looking for. Halfway, middle, يعني midpoint. There to take a break. Where does George stop to rest? So the stopping point will be at the midpoint, which is 38 plus 62 divided by 2. And when you add them, it will be 100 divided by 2, which is 50. So he will stop at the 50th street. إذن إحنا أوجدنا نقطة المنتصف كما فهمنا من نص المسألة. Okay, here Callie wants to build a fence halfway between her house and her neighbor's house. How far away from Callie's house should the fence be built? So if you assume that this is the starting of the number line at 0, so the coordinate here will be 10, and the coordinate here will be 28. And you are asked to find the midpoint, the point halfway between these houses. So definitely we are finding 10 plus 28 divided by 2, which is 38 divided by 2, which is 19. So it will be somewhere here, 9 units or 9 yards the difference from the house. Now, what if we want to find the midpoint on the coordinate plane? إذا أردنا إيجاد نقطة المنتصف في النظام الإحداثي, so exactly what we have done to x we will do for y. Here, this is the additional part for the y. So let's apply here. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of a segment with the given endpoints. We can name the first point x1, y1, and the other point x2, y2. Remember, we are asked to find midpoint. We have the endpoints. Endpoints are known. يعني هاي نقطة البداية والنهاية, negative 15 and 4, and this is 2 and negative 10. We are asked to find the midpoint. So the midpoint, as per the rule, is x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. So it is negative 15 plus 2 over 2, and 4 plus negative 10 over 2. And it will be negative 13 divided by 2, negative 6 over 2, which is equal to negative 6.5 and negative 3. It can be fraction as well. Yes. Let's move to find the missing coordinates, and I prefer to sketch. لازم ارسم أفضل لك, يفضل إنك ترسم القطعة المستقيمة حتى تعرف مين المعلوم ومين المجهول. It's preferred, it's recommended to sketch what is required and what is known. Find the coordinates of Q. If R is the midpoint of QS, so we have a segment called QS. And what is the midpoint? R is the midpoint. So R is somewhere here, midpoint, and it is known coordinates. We know now the midpoint coordinate. S has coordinate known as 12, 4. So here, this is the segment. We have this known, we have this known, and now we want Q that we don't know. So we will not name it as X1, Y1. So we are asked to find the coordinate of one of the endpoints. Now let's see here, what do we know? We know the midpoint, so we will use midpoint formula. Midpoint is x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. We know the midpoint, so we will replace. x1 we don't know, x2 we know, it's 12, so we name this x2, y2, over 2, y1 we don't know, and y2 it's 4, over 2. So we have here two unknowns, so we can generate two equations. The first equation comes from that this x coordinate equals to this x coordinate. So we will write it 6 equals to x1 plus 12 over 2. And we will solve this proportion. We can simply cross multiply, put a 6 over 1. So x2 plus 12 equals 6 times 2, which is 12. And x2 is 12 minus 12 means 0. Now let's solve for the y now. So we have here y coordinate, which is this one, is equal to this one. And we can solve it as well. So we can say that negative 1 is y1 plus 4 over 2. Cross multiply. 2 times 9 minus 1 is negative 2. Take the 4 to the other side. So y1 is negative 2 minus 4, which is negative 6. So the point needed is, which is S, not SQ, is X is 0, Y is negative 6. And this is the coordinate of this point. Now this is a little bit different because the midpoint is known. Now let's solve another exercise with fractions that you don't like. Find the coordinates of the missing endpoint if B is the midpoint of AC. So step 1, sketch. This is A, this is C. What is known? C is known. This is the other endpoint, so it is x2, y2. What is known also? B is known because B is the midpoint and it is known to be 8/3 and 4. The missing now is what is A. So it is x1, y1. Sometimes that one is missing. It will be the same procedure exactly. So we can say that the midpoint B is, this is the formula. Because this is the midpoint, I will replace x1 is unknown, x2 is known, y1 unknown, y2 is -6/2. I will do the same procedure exactly. So this x coordinate equals to that. So 8/3 equals x1 plus 5/3/2. You'll do the same thing. With fraction, without fraction, it will be the same thing. So let's cross multiply. It will lead to 3 times x1 plus 5/3. Put into brackets, it's better to avoid not to miss anything. Times 2 is 16. And let's distribute. نوزع 3 times x1, 3x1. 3 times 5/3 is 5 equals 16. 3x1 is 16 minus 5, which is 11. Divide by 3 both sides, so x1 is 11/3. And we will repeat the procedure again for the y. Now y coordinate, which is 4, equals to this. So 4 equal to, cross multiply, 4 times 2, 8. So y1 is 8 plus 6, which is 14. So that means we have the missing coordinate, which is A, has coordinate x1, which is 11/3, y1, which is 14. Have a look. If you have any difficulties, repeat it back and tell me if I've done any mistakes in the comments. Now let's see if we can find the missing measure on the segment. Suppose M is the midpoint of FG, and this is what we have here, FG. I will sketch. This is F, this is G. M is the midpoint, so it's exactly at the middle. في نقطة المنتصف موجودة. Find each missing measure. Now we will see what is given, what is not given. MG, so from M to G, given to be 7x minus 15. We have FG from F to G is 33. You are asked to find X. Now, it's better for you to do it this way because sometimes if you don't sketch you will miss between midpoints and endpoints. يعني الأفضل إنك ترسم وتحط الأشياء المعروفة على الشكل. So MG, the distance from the midpoint to G, is known. هذه M. Yes. And let's see what is going on. We have many ways to solve it. We can assume, not assume, actually we can conclude that this is 7x minus 15. So we can say that 7x minus 15 plus 7x minus 15 is equal to 33. Why this is the same? Because this side is congruent to that one. لأن الM midpoint. Because M is the midpoint. We can do it this way. Or, and we solved it طبعا. We can also say that 7x minus 15 is equal to the 33 divided by 2. Right? Because the whole segment is 33, each part will be 33 divided by 2. So 33 divided by 2 is 16.5. So we can say 7x minus 15 is 16.5. And we will take the 15, or we can add 15 to both sides. And this will be 31.5. And when you divide by 7, 31.5 divided by 7 is 4.5. If you solve it in the other way to prove that this will lead to the same result, we can say 7x, let's change the color, نغير اللون. So you can say 7x minus 15 plus another 7x minus 15 is equal to 33. Let's combine like terms. This is 7x plus 7x, 14x, minus 15 minus 15 minus 30 is equal to 33. Take this 30 or add 30 to both sides, so it will be 63. When you divide both sides by 14, so x will be 63 divided by 14. It is 4.5 as we have done before. طبعا you can solve using one approach. Don't write both. It will be waste of time. Any one is acceptable. Here we go again. Another assumption for the same segment, which is FG. Now they have assumed different values. Also, we have M at the middle, midpoint. Now, FM is given to be 12x minus 4. We have MG is given to 5x plus 10. We are asked to find from F to G. Actually, since it was mentioned that M is the midpoint, that means this segment is equal in measure to that. They are congruent to each other. So we can say FM is equal to MG, and we will replace by the given information. MG is this one, and we will solve. 12x minus 5x is equal to 4 plus 10. So 7x is 14 divided by 7. So x is 2. Now, is that all? Of course not. He wants FG. So we will find one of the segments. We will find FM or MG, no problem. I will replace 12. X is 2. So it is 24 minus 4, which is 20. This is FM. So this is 20. Of course, this will be always 20. So FG will be 20 times 2, double the measure, which is 40. And this is what we are looking for. Let's check our understanding. Find the measure of RS if S is the midpoint of RT. Of course, here we have S is the midpoint, so definitely we can know that RS is equal to measure as ST. And we will solve. And I will replace to find RS, 7x minus 5. I will replace x by 9. So it is 63 minus 5, which is 58. He wants what? RT. So RT is 58 times 2, because RT is the whole measure. So 58 times 2, which is 116. Okay. Now this is RT, the total measure. We have to read carefully what is required exactly. Find the measure of RT or RS. If required RS, so you will choose this one. If required RT, you will choose this one. Now it's not required to find RT. We are asked to find RS only, so only it is enough to find this one. Okay, find the measure of AC. If B is the midpoint of AC, round your answer, because this is the midpoint. This is equal to that, as we have done many times. 3m minus 8m is 7 minus 4. Negative 5m is equal to 3. Divide by negative 5. So m is negative 3 over 5, is negative 0.6. Now, what is required? AC, so the total measure. Let's find AB. AB is 3 times m plus 4. 3 times negative 3 over 5 plus 4. Okay, so it will be 3 over 5. Negative 3 over 5 times 3 plus 4 it will give us 2.2 or 11/5, whatever. So this is AB. We want AC, so just multiply it by 2. So AC is 2 times 2.2, which is 4.4. AC is the total measure here. Sorry, from here to here. Very good. Real-life application. Troop 175 is designing a new campground by first mapping everything on a coordinate grid. They found locations for the mess hall and their cabins. So from all the text, we want the math part, which is this, the location of mess hall, M, the location of the cabins, C. Now they found locations and they want the bathroom to be halfway between these two places. So we have to find the midpoint because it's halfway between these two locations. What are the coordinates of the location of the bathroom? So first of all, we need the location of M. According to this graph or sketch, we want M is -4 and -1. It is at -4 and -1. And C, the location of cabins, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, paired with 3. So it is at 6 and 3. We will name this as x1, y1, and this as x2, y2, and we will find the midpoint, which is the location of the bathroom. So simply, we will add -4 plus 6 dividing by 2, -1 plus 3 dividing by 2. So it will be 2 over 2 and 2 over 2, which is 1, 1. So the bathroom will be somewhere here. Yes, 1 and 1. And here we go. Brian is at the library doing research paper. He leaves the library at point A and walks to the soccer field for a game at point C. The supermarket at point B is exactly halfway between the library and the soccer field. So this is the midpoint. After Brian's first soccer game, he walks to the supermarket to buy a snack. So he went here to buy a snack and then walk back here to the soccer field. His second game, not including the time spent at the soccer game, how far does Brian walk? So we want this distance and again this distance. So we can find this distance multiplied by 2. يعني from the soccer field to the supermarket and back to the soccer field. Okay, so from this text من هالكلام عرفنا انه B موقع السوبر ماركت بالنص تماما في المنتصف. That means AB is exactly equal to BC في منتصف المسافة. إذا المسافة من A ل B هي نفسها من B ل C. So we will write the equation 5x minus 3 is equal to 2x plus 6. We can solve the equation. 3x is 9 and x is 3. So x is 3 here. After finding x, let's check what is required. We want to find BC, which is, it was given as 2x plus 6, so we will replace x by 3, and it will be 6 plus 6, which is 12. Now, this distance is 12, and he went back again, so the distance required, he wants, how far does he walk? So he walks double that distance, or 12 plus 12, which is 24, and everything was given in miles or in feet or whatever. Okay. Now, last question. A drone is flying over a field of corn, identifies a dry area, this brown one, and the coordinates of the vertices, these vertices, the vertex is the intersection between two sides. To what coordinates should the portable irrigation system be sent to water the dry area? Explain your reason. Of course, the drone will be somewhere here at the middle to be able, because if you put here, or if you pour the water here, it will be scattered the area around. It can reach to all the angles or all the area. That means we can find the midpoint of the diagonal of this diagonal or the other one. Since this is not a square, so the midpoint will not be the same if you find it for each diagonal, but it will be approximately the same location. So we will not be, actually, we will not deduct marks for choosing a different diagonal. So that means we will choose, I will choose this diagonal, the blue one. So we are finding the midpoint of the diagonal that ends with these vertices. يعني ناخد القطر وناخد نقطة المنتصف, which is somewhere here. And that means we are going to add 888 plus 144 divided by 2, 1055 plus 289 also divided by 2. And it needs calculator. 888 plus 144 divided by 2, it is 516. The other one, 1055 plus 289 and divide by 2, it is 672. So if you check here, this will be 500, 516 somewhere here, and 672 somewhere there. يعني approximately this is the correct answer. And with that, we have finished the midpoint lesson, which was easy, I think. Thank you all. شكرا لكم جميعا وإلى اللقاء في الدرس القادم.